to let him fight again, and that's the decision that we made. We didn't know how serious the situation was.
There was an adverse finding in the Nevada test. The British Boxing Board of Control statement, which was just to say, at the moment, we do not prohibit this bout.
All right, so stop it with the bullshit that we still got on.
Another thing, you know why I'm backing around? Because a lot of boxers going at him. Which, when we fought, we made it cool, not saying like, but we made it.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. didn't merely voice disappointment after his son pulled out of the scheduled fight with Shakur Stevenson, he publicly dismantled him. This wasn't a quiet family disagreement or a measured show of concern. It was a brutal dressing down that laid bare what Sr. sees as a complete betrayal of boxing, discipline, and the Lopez family name. His message was unmistakable. This situation went far beyond a missed fight. It was about honor, accountability, and the consequences of reckless decisions. Lopez Sr. made it clear that boxing is not a game where shortcuts are tolerated.
You never know, in this sport anything could happen, you know. So, you know, every time you go in there, you putting your life at risk, you know. So, yeah, like he said, he must have said that anything could happen.
Every choice a fighter makes carries real danger, not just for themselves, but for the opponent standing across the ring. By allegedly failing drug tests and then pulling out, Teofimo Lopez Jr. showed in his father's eyes a lack of discipline, preparation, and respect for the sport. There were no excuses offered and no sympathy extended. Sr. framed his son's actions as a warning. Relying on substances or cutting corners is unacceptable and will always come at a cost. At the same
play chess and trying to, put the right pawns on the right spots so he could get the best of what had happened.
At the same time, Lopez Sr. drew a sharp contrast between his son's chaos and the calculated professionalism of Shakur Stevenson. He described boxing as a chess match, where the smartest fighters place the right pawns at the right time. In that comparison, Shakur stood as the model professional, disciplined, methodical, and fully...
The statement he's actually saying is that we're not sanctioning this fight. There's ongoing conversations with the lawyers. And
prepared. While Lopez Jr. stumbled amid failed tests and last-minute withdrawals, Shakur continued to operate with focus and consistency, embodying everything elite fighters are supposed to represent. Promoter Eddie Hearn added fuel to the fire by exposing the disorder behind Lopez Jr.'s pullout. According to Hearn, the situation had deteriorated into a complete mess. The fight was left unsanctioned. Legal teams were scrambling, and the entire event was thrown into...
We don't know, but that's really, really right of him for him to think of and plan doing something.
Limbo. Hearn didn't mince words. This was unprofessional, embarrassing, and damaging. A fighter at this level is expected to meet obligations, not leave promoters, commissions, and opponents cleaning up chaos. The result, Hearn implied, was a serious blow to Lopez Jr.'s credibility. Former champion Johnny Nelson echoed that sentiment, openly questioning the class, or lack thereof, behind the decision to pull out. He hinted that more might be going on behind the scenes, but emphasized that no explanation could fully justify how this was handled. To Nelson, the move
is taking in performance enhancement drugs. It's just it's dangerous. It's dangerous for
looked sloppy and self-inflicted, leaving Lopez Jr. exposed to criticism and ridicule. Devin Haney took an even harder stance, calling out the sheer recklessness of having performance-enhancing drugs in one system. For Haney, this wasn't just about rules on paper. PEDs endanger lives. They distort fairness and put opponents at risk. Lopez Jr., in Haney's view, wasn't just jeopardizing his own career. He was threatening the safety of everyone who steps into the ring with him. The failed test...
I think is a bad look for boxing. I mean, no matter who did it, but to be in a fight of this magnitude, and first, I thought he fooled everyone by just putting...
Symbolized irresponsibility at the highest level. Jeff Mayweather also weighed in, labeling the entire episode an embarrassment to boxing. A fight of this magnitude demanded professionalism and maturity, yet Lopez Jr.'s actions came off as childish and reckless. While some initially believed the pullout might be a negotiating tactic or a bluff, the reality became undeniable. This was real, and the damage was self-inflicted. In contrast, Shakur Stevenson remained locked in, ready and composed, once again highlighting the difference between...
It goes to VADA. It's going to VADA. It ain't going to get mixed up. So he's done this, and if he's cheated, He's a piece
A true professional and a fighter, making headlines for the wrong reasons. George Kambosos Jr. didn't hold back either. He dismissed any talk of confusion or accidental ingestion, stating bluntly that if Lopez Jr. tried to cheat, it was a serious betrayal of the sport. There was no gray area in Kambosos' assessment. This wasn't a minor mistake, it was a disgrace. His words further underlined how far Lopez Jr.'s reputation had fallen, especially when placed next to Shakur's clean and disciplined image. Gervonta Davis raised eyebrows by questioning the suspension.
You see how as soon as why didn't it take 72 hours for the test to come back, right?
It came back after the fight, yeah.
Right. So why ain't
Suspicious timing of the failed test results, which reportedly surfaced unusually fast. Whether intentional or not, the situation fueled speculation and reinforced the sense of disorder surrounding Lopez Jr. The chaos only deepened the humiliation, while Shakur Stevenson's standing as a composed, disciplined professional continued to grow. Eddie Hearn later emphasized the harsh reality of boxing. When a fighter tests positive for banned substances, the sport operates on a guilty until proven innocent basis. While due process exists, the stain of a failed test is immediate.
Who had performance-enhancing drugs in his system. I believe everybody should have the right to protest their innocence. Unfortunately, in this situation, it's guilty until proven innocent. I've been there, right? But one thing we 100% know in this situation,
immediate and severe. Lopez Jr., Hearn explained, had placed his own career in jeopardy. Journalist Gareth A. Davies highlighted just how serious the violation was, noting that the substance detected has been banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency since 2008 and is known to enhance lean muscle mass. This wasn't a technicality, it was a clear competitive advantage. Finally, legendary. Commentator Jim Lampley reinforced the credibility of the testing process, pointing out that both A and B samples reportedly came back positive.
In your system, it's in there. Ostarine has been banned on the World Anti-Doping Agency list, Andy, since 2008. It's a very serious drug. It creates lean muscle mass.
There was no ambiguity. Boxing's anti-doping measures had done their job, and Lopez Jr. had failed them. As the dust settles, his future remains uncertain, while Shakur Stevenson's reputation for discipline, integrity, and professionalism stands stronger than ever. Stephen Espinosa begins by addressing the sheer chaos surrounding Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s shocking pullout and failed drug tests, noting how the situation has completely taken over social media. The online reaction has been explosive, equal parts disbelief, outrage, speculation, and mockery.
Basic response is VADA doesn't lie. VADA's for real. VADA's a legitimate scientific research organization. They have done a great job of helping boxing to clean up performance-enhancing drug.
While controversy can sometimes drive pay-per-view interest, Espinosa points out that it doesn't always translate into long-term value. What is undeniable is the damage done. Lopez Jr. has seriously tarnished his reputation, becoming the subject of nonstop debate, criticism, and viral memes. This public frenzy only sharpens the contrast with Shakur Stevenson. While Lopez Jr. spirals deeper into controversy, Shakur continues to operate with discipline, focus, and consistency. One fighter dominates headlines for all the wrong reasons. The other quietly builds legacy and respect. In modern boxing, Espinosa emphasizes what happens outside the ring carries just as much weight as what happens inside it. And Lopez Jr. is now facing the full consequences of his decisions. Former world champion Johnny Nelson is even more direct.
Social media is going, absolutely crazy. And usually that does correlate to big pay-per-view, but not always, because there are a lot of times where people are just talking about craziness.
He openly questions the logic and responsibility behind Lopez Jr.'s choices, calling them reckless and inexplicable. Nelson points out that using performance-enhancing substances with a known detection window of roughly 2 weeks shows a stunning lack of judgment. In a sport where preparation, discipline, and integrity are everything, Lopez Jr.'s actions fall far below professional standards. Nelson's assessment is humiliating, exposing how far Lopez Jr. has drifted from elite discipline while further highlighting Shakur Stevenson's clean, principled approach. It's a harsh reminder that even decisions made outside the ring can permanently define a fighter's legacy. Adam Smith...
No, it stays for 2 weeks. I don't know, why would you take it knowing there's a possibility that it's going to be in your system? And why would you take it for our sport?
Reacts with disbelief to reports of Lopez Jr.'s failed cocaine test, calling it massively surprising and deeply troubling. The shock, Smith explains, is shared across the boxing world. Testing positive for a recreational drug on the eve of a major fight isn't just a personal mistake, it's a public embarrassment. It raises serious questions about Lopez Jr.'s judgment, dedication, and reliability as a top-level professional. Smith stresses that the consequences extend far beyond the single fight, damaging trust with fans, promoters, and opponents alike, especially when compared to disciplined champions such as Shakur Stevenson. Duke McKenzie echoes the bafflement felt throughout the sport, focusing on the fact that both...
And he said to me yesterday at 60-40, so we don't know. I don't know if that is the case and he's failed a sample for cocaine. That's really surprising, massively surprising.
A and B samples reportedly returned positive results. To McKenzie, this removes any doubt or ambiguity. This is not a minor oversight or a technical error. It's a serious violation of anti-doping standards. The embarrassment, he notes, is significant and public. Lopez Jr. hasn't simply withdrawn from a fight. He has humiliated himself on a global stage. Once again, the contrast is glaring. While Lopez Jr. struggles under scrutiny, Shakur Stevenson's career continues to be defined by consistency, discipline, and professionalism. Spencer Oliver delivers perhaps the harshest assessment. Bluntly,
how can he give a sample and then a B sample and they both come back positive for a banned substance? It doesn't make any sense.
Calling the presence of cocaine in Lopez Jr.'s system absurd. He emphasizes what was at stake: the fight, the opponent, the opportunity, and the moment. Against that backdrop, Lopez Jr.'s behavior appears not just careless, but indefensible. Oliver makes it clear that Lopez Jr. now owes the sport, the fans, and himself a serious explanation. There is no room for excuses. The fallout from Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s pullout and failed drug tests has shaken boxing to its core. Criticism from respected voices, public humiliation, and professional...
By what it is, recreational drugs, cocaine, you just go, how has that got in your system? He's got some explaining to do for one, and you think with what you had on the line, and with what what was coming up for you, and the opponent you had in front of you, you just go like, cocaine in your system is just...
embarrassment have pushed him to a crossroads in his career. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson's reputation as a disciplined, clean, and dominant fighter continues to rise, standing in stark contrast to the chaos surrounding Lopez Jr. The boxing world is left debating what this means for the lightweight division, and whether Lopez Jr. can ever fully recover. Can he redeem himself? Or is Shakur Stevenson's legacy only growing stronger?